Good evening. The Fitch-Rona EMS Commission meeting is called to order. Michelle, if you could do roll.
Sure. Strassman,
Here.
Hilla,
Here.
Roberts,
Here.
Cronin,
Present.
Johnson,
Here.
Kaiser McHenry,
Here.
Lonsdorf, Schnapp,
Here.
Lugenbull,
Here.
Chief Anderson,
Present.
and Dostalek. Okay.
We have a quorum. There was no public comment, so let's go right into the swearing in and pinning of paramedic Henry Gore.
We're going to do it right in the middle here so you can be up in front on public access television. I'll have your, is it your dad's going to come on up? All right. So I'll hand you that, and we'll have Henry will have sent you this earlier to take a look at. It's here just in case you need to spot check it. But if you want to raise your right hand for me, please. So I, and state your name.
I, Henry Gore,
As a sworn paramedic of the Fitch-Rona EMS District,
as a sworn paramedic of the Fitch-Rona EMS District,
swear that I will faithfully, honestly, and impartially
swear that I will faithfully, honestly, and impartially
discharge the duties of an EMS provider,
discharge the duties of an EMS provider.
and I pledge to carry out these duties to the best of my ability.
I pledge to carry out these duties to the best of my ability.
I will honor and respect the mission, goals, purpose, and policies
I will honor, respect the mission, goals, purpose, and policies
of the district and the administrative rules of the state of Wisconsin.
of the district and the administrative roles of the state of Wisconsin.
And I recognize the badge of my position
And I recognize the badge of my position
as a symbol of public faith and trust.
as a symbol of public faith and trust.
And I accept this position as long as I am true to the ethics of the emergency medical services profession.
And I accept this position so long as I am true to the ethics of the emergency medical profession.
I make these promises solemnly, freely, and upon my honor.
I make these promises solemnly, freely, and upon my honor. Thank you.
Congratulations.
You? And the pinning?
Yes.
Congratulations, Henry. How exciting.
Thank you.
Oh, boy. Close enough for public access TV. Perfect. All right.
There you go. It's not the worst job. Thank you very much.
All right.
Well, let's move on to review and approval of the meeting minutes from January 19th, 2023. Any corrections, comments? If not, a motion to approve is submitted.
I make a motion to move as submitted.
A second.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, the minutes as submitted for January 19th are approved. We'll move on to the chief's report. Patrick?
Let me get zoomed in here a little bit so you can mildly see it. This did get emailed out to everyone. So you'll see our numbers there. We did have another pretty significant month in February. Some of that has to do with some of that new area in the Old Town or New Fitchburg for us. Seems to have settled off a little bit this month, so hopefully that's we're headed back to normal. But still probably on target to about 5,000 calls this year. Still pretty significant. Other numbers that you see there are pretty par for what we have normally seen. our training this month with the ALS Consortium. I didn't get it. We just had that this last Wednesday and the Wednesday before, so I had this printed off already. But I actually did an annual kind of at-risk populations group for us. The rest of the numbers you see there. I will share, I know it's been brought up probably since October of last year as far as the aging report goes, that we've got a pretty significant amount in that 180 plus days. I did reach out to Brad with the billing company from us and, looking for an answer why that continues to grow. He got back to me and said that it was the state or the IRS or somebody actually had changed the rules about sending bills to collection agencies, which now required more information. So he actually had to go back through a lot of last year's accounts and actually send that information that was already sitting at the collection agency to get that information updated. Did promise me he would make a task of his to get that number back down to where we wanted it. So as it does continue to climb, I just want to let you know I did reach out to him on that. The other information as far as cash on hand is sitting there. We did take, between Michelle and I didn't see it posted yet as of this morning, the money that was put into the budget line item to increase the reserve. We actually did work with Stephanie at Oak Bank to actually purchase another CD. The rates were actually pretty good this last month. They had a special, I guess. But we actually did purchase another CD to help put some of that reserve back into a higher earning interest account. So you'll see that pop up here next month. Otherwise, the rest of our funds are sitting there. We did get a $500 donation from St. Christopher's. So a big thank you to them. And then March is a pretty normal month, boring month. No new people other than Henry's going to make that list for us now next year. Still haven't gotten numbers from Sun Prairie, but I did get the numbers for 2022 for Middleton. So we did only see a 2.4% jump between last year and the year before. Middleton did see about a 15% increase. So just kind of nice comparison there. Still trying to get a hold of Chief Garrison to give me some numbers for Sun Prairie. We should be able to fairly compare to them for 2022. If you haven't paid attention to what's going on in the county at all, Sun Prairie did take over, I guess, or merge with Marshall EMS as of January 1st of this year. So Marshall EMS doesn't exist anymore, and Sun Prairie added on a third ambulance that's now out in Marshall. They don't do fire, they just do EMS. So their district got significantly bigger on January 1st. So it's not, they're up to 3 rigs, but it'll be a little more difficult to do some comparisons with them. But they're still kind of, Middleton and Sun Prairie are equals. So that's what I have for a chief's report.
Any questions?
I guess I didn't download it onto my laptop. I did mail out the in-house budget report as well. If you looked, I think we're at 15.9% through the year as far as where we are as date-wise, and I think we're at like 15.7% as far as expenditures. So that's another right where we should be.
Okay.
I have a question. Do you think our huge increase in the number of runs is going to have budgetary implications by the end of the year?
If I look at historically, so it doesn't cost us anymore to put trucks. We already have 3 trucks on the street. What happens as far as run income gets to be significantly higher than what's budgeted for. Expenditures will be a little higher as far as fuel cost, potential repair costs, medical supplies, but it should, in theory, balance out with the run income
better income
that comes in.
As long as we can collect it, I guess.
That is always the case as well. One of the other things that's out there is I do keep track of, and it's in the year-end, the annual report, which should be up on, I think, Fitchburg's website sometime this month, or I can email it to you as well. That kind of gives the big comprehensive view of the district. I do keep track of the number of times we are called out and get canceled en route, the number of times we don't transport patients or would have no patient contact. That number is almost 25 to 30% of our calls we don't transport. whether it's a fire assist or it's a call that we just don't bill, or we are called to Oregon or Stoughton, one of our neighboring places, to help them out, and then we are ultimately canceled. So like Oregon runs one ambulance, so if they get a second call in their district, we're automatically sent. If they happen to have a crew in-house that can hop off the fire engine and hop on that ambulance, and then that ambulance gets out the door, we're turned around. But we still count that as a call because we are sent, and our crews still have to do that. So as much as we see those numbers go up, some of that is impacted by our neighbors increasing in calls as well. But I do take that into consideration when I look at run income. Something that I think that will remain to be seen here in the very near future. Oregon started flexing to the paramedic level, as did McFarland as of last month. Flexing to the paramedic level means if they have a paramedic on staff, they can run a paramedic rig. If they don't, then they go back down to an EMT or AEMT rig. But now that they have they're running, it's at least one paramedic. I don't know that I know their operational plan doesn't call for two, but as long as they're running a single medic rig, we will stop getting calls into those districts because they have their own paramedic service now. So I don't know what that's going to look like for our call volume. 10% of our calls are outside of the district. So that's kind of something will remain to be seen.
In February, I think there were 16 times that all the trucks were out on calls, if I'm reading this right. Is there any pattern to when that happens, or is it pretty random?
It's pretty random. I have actually plotted it out by day of the week, time of day, and location in the district. It's completely random.
No, it doesn't really help. There's not a scheduling issue that would
It's
solve
not.
it then. Yeah,
I've
okay.
been actually trying to figure that out as we look at growth of where are we missing the calls. They are all over, and it's like not on Wednesdays, I think is the only thing I can figure it out. It's every other day, every other time of day. The majority of the locations so there's two factors about having all of our resources out. Right, that's something we can't manage. Now, I don't want to say we lose calls, but the reminder that we do borderless ALS. So based on the acuity code on how patients answer 911 calls, it develops a code, something like a severe chest pain, they will get the closest paramedic ambulance. And based on the previous information, I will share because we are a dual medic system, we have signed on to, we will only accept the closest dual paramedic ambulance. So we don't have, we will not, I want to say not accept, but we do not have a single medic services responding in as a closest ambulance, only the two medic systems. So essentially Middleton or the city will come in. But the Greenway Cross Index Road, Post Road area is closer to Station 6 than it is to any of our stations. So anybody who calls and or codes it as a closest AL ambulance, they will always get, not always, but Medic 6 or Medic 7 is usually the one in Verona as well. So there's kind of a whole nother subset of numbers in there of calls that we could respond to in the city of Fitchburg or Verona if we had an ambulance stationed closer to that line. So that's probably a discussion. Well, it will be a discussion in a year or two from now when we talk about the next ambulance. How do we staff it? When do we staff it? And then the follow-up question of where do we staff it? Does the cost of finding a station on, say, Index Road and say renting someplace on Index Road and putting an ambulance closer to where our calls are, does that outweigh the number of calls that we would get back as far as revenue, or do we put them in the quote unquote free stations space that we currently have that wouldn't cost us anything? So I'm working on that data all right now to talk about in a couple of years from now.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions for Chief? If not, let's move on. I don't think there's any chair reports on personnel and finance. So let's move on to accounts payable checks. that Chief Anderson sent out. Were there any questions about any of the checks in there? Interesting reading. Give you a minute to take a look at it. If there's no questions or comments, I'll make a motion to approve as submitted. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor of approving the accounts payable checks authorized by Chief Anderson, signify by saying aye.
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 And anyone opposed? Hearing none, the checks as submitted are approved. And then let's move on to election of a new commission chair. I think my time as chair it's time to move on. And so I guess first I'd ask if anybody's interested in stepping forward to be chair. Yeah, if not, does anybody want to nominate?
Step forward.
Okay, Derek is interested. Anybody else interested in running? If not,
Do I have to campaign?
I don't think so. I think we take a vote and, yeah.
Get signs in people's yards.
All in favor of Derek as the new chair, signify by saying aye.
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 And I know no one's opposed, so congratulations.
Thanks. I'm, thank you. Big shoes to fill, Terry, so.
No, you'll
looking
do a
forward to the
great
chance.
job.
Thank you, Terry.
I guess I would throw on there that Terry's not being entirely forthcoming. He's stepping down as chair because he's actually not renewing his position on the EMS commission. So this will actually be his last meeting with us as well. So just wanted to publicly thank you for all of your years of service and support to all of us here in the district and
You're
me
welcome.
especially. So thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I'll let the new chair close the meeting.
What's the last agenda item?
That was it?
That was it?
Yeah.
That was it? Yeah, other
Other
business,
business?
anything we missed?
We'll be meeting again next month on the, I don't have it on there. It'll be the third Thursday. We will have, I'll be sending out an email trying to do personnel the week before and finance before the meeting. I will have the CIP already. It's time for the 2024 budget. So I do have the CIP that I'll be presenting at that meeting, as well as a couple of policy updates. But I'll reach out before then. So just watch out for save the date for the second and third Thursdays next month. Thank you. April 20th.
Anything else? Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Terry? No? All right. And so Terry, you get the record. This might be the record at 14 minutes, 37 seconds.